Hello. Welcome to the 10th part of the solo max level newbie. A special thanks to my Patreon for supporting me. And if you want to support, you can join my Patreon for as low as $1. Thank you very much. Let's begin. At the beginning of this part we see that Beck says, "You're here. Chun Yu-sung. This is Murim, the middle level of the Tower of Trials. What do you think? Great view, right?" Chun thinks Murim. "I didn't expect to reach this place already." She says, "Aren't you extremely grateful to me for stopping the Dark Emperor from killing you?" We see a flashback where Dark Emperor is about to kill Chun and Beck says, "Dark Emperor, please spare this man's life." Dark Emperor says, "You dare stand in my way? Why Beck Sealan?" She says, "Kindly, as a senior member of Murim, be generous and look out for your junior. He is the soon-to-be disciple of soul-chasing S.A. Young. He must have gained a lot of enlightenment from today's experiences." Dark Emperor says, "What? Soul-chasing Sejong's disciple?" Chun says, "Not even in my dreams I expect you to say the name of soul-chasing S.A. Young. But why would you tell such a lie? Soul-chasing S.A. Young is legendary master who was active ages ago in Murim. She's either long dead, or if not that, a gray-haired elderly by now. If this is a ploy to lure me here, you better be ready for the consequences. You know a lot about this world." She thinks, "He looked great, frowning like that." She says, "But gray-haired elderly? That's quite rude of you." Chun is really surprised and says, "No way." She says, "When soul-chasing S.A. Young is still going strong." Soul-chasing S.A. Young says, "Are you the child who wields my soul-chasing sword?" Jinhyuk says, "Go with him into the Imperial Treasury. I'll listen to what he has to say and follow right after." Alice and Penheimer leaves. Penheimer says, "Are you sure it's okay to leave Kong Jinhyuk alone like that?" Alice says, "Worry about those who need it. Young man, you sure have a lot of worries." Gawain says, "If a contractor asks you to leave, they've got a hidden agenda." Jinhyuk says, "Stop with that nonsense and get to the point." He says, "Going after Penheimer was the right answer, after all. It's a pleasure to meet you." Jinhyuk says, "Now that there's no one else listening, get down to business, yeah. What do you want from me? And if you give the same crap about join the Demonic Human Association or some shit, I'd rather just fight you again." Gawain says, "Offering you to be on the same side? No way. We're both already aware after all, aren't we? Between us, even if we hold hands, in the end, we'd be holding knives at each other's throats. With all this commotion, around 10 minutes should be enough time for the Imperial Guards to storm in here. In the meantime, let's have a friendly exchange of information." Truthfully, we see the Melina says, "Gawain, what about him?" "Well, I don't know much since I'm assigned to Lancelot." "What a shame." Jinhyuk uses Brank of Tribulation. She says, "That guy. I remember now. He's one of Round Table Knights of the Demonic Human Association. Unlike Lancelot, he's known for being active on the front lines. He's good at using necromancy and sword arts, and he's got a talent for digging up information." Jinhyuk says, "How great is it when you tell me what you know?" Gawain activates Scales of Trust and target his own arm. System says, each side asks a question in order and that question must be answered truthfully. In the scenario someone lies or stays silent, the scales shall bring judgment upon you. Gawain says, "Tell one the truth. The rule applies to me too. You must have many questions for me. So how about we have a little fun until the guards arrive?" Jinhyuk says, "Lunatic, you're just gonna tie us down, huh?" Jinhyuk accepts the Scales of Trust and says, "Great, then come at me." After that we see that guards appears there. They surrounds the building, and they check inside of the house and there is no there. They say, "There's a high chance it's a wanted criminal. Spread out and search." Gawain says, "Kong Jinhyuk. Not easy, as expected. I almost had my arm blown off. Also, I didn't expect to hear a question like that." Jinhyuk asks him, "How many people in the Demonic Human Association changed their class to Dark Disciple?" Gawain is really surprised and thinks, how does he know about the Dark Disciples? If he has this intel, that means he's either secretly in contact with a demonic human executive, of communicating directly with demons. System says, Scales of Trust are involved. You must answer truthfully. For now, I have no choice but to answer him. Right now, the Demonic Human Association has a total of 3 dark disciples. System says, scales of trust are judging. It is the truth. Gawain says, I was really shocked. I didn't expect a difficult question like that. But now it's my time to ask a question. Yeah. The hidden ruins on the 15th floor. Antichrist's tomb. Can you tell me how to get in there? Gawain thinks. Kong Jinhyuk has an overwhelming amount of intel about the Tower OT trials. So he must have intel about the Antichrist's tomb as well. Him being on this middle floor right now is proof of that. I'm gonna find the tomb. And help with the Demon King's resurrection. System says, scales of trust are involved. You must answer truthfully. Gawain says, tell me what you know. Jinhyuk says, Antichrist, are you talking about the place where you can manifest demons? Not telling you. Gawain is really surprised. System says, judging. It is the truth. Gawain thinks, what the hell? How on earth is that the truth? What the hell is happening here? Gawain is really surprised. Jinhyuk says, the way to differentiate truth from lies is very ambiguous. That's why the skill scales of trust uses the subject's heartbeat to differentiate between truth and lies. In other words, System says, you have activated shallow breathing. You can now control your breathing rate and heart rate. As long as I control my heartbeat, everything I say will show up as the truth. Gawain thinks, now wait. How on earth is he fine even after lying so obviously? Not to mention, he himself said that he knows about the Antichrist's tomb. Did he use a trick that disturbs the skill? Jinhyuk activates 3-star barrier spell weakening. Jinhyuk easily frees his arm. Gawain is really surprised. He thinks, he broke the ties with skill. Jinhyuk thanks because of you. Now I know I've got 3 dark disciples to get rid of. Now, I gotta find out what you're doing here. Jinhyuk activates Brand of Tribulation. Gawain uses emergency escape. System says, in return of moving your body to a safe location, you will take some damage. Gawain says, that unknown barrier and even a torturing spell. Playing games with you is dangerous. Let me tell you a fun fact to commemorate my loss. I took a look at the Muram zone on my way here. Apparently, we're not the only players in the middle region here. Jinhyuk says, what are you talking about? He is there. The one who lied to me and you about being unknown. You comrade, Chun Yusung, was with the Muram people. Jinhyuk is really surprised. Gawain smiles and say, you one-sidedly stole intel from me, and I almost lost my right arm. But I think you've already lost your right arm. Your banter with us was great. But you should check whether or not your comrade has betrayed you from time to time. I'll get going now. All the air looking for them. Jinhyuk is inside the underground passage. Jinhyuk says, Stalker, that rascal. This is not it. After that you see at the Empire's royal palace, someone says, have you still not caught the wanted criminal? Duck says, throw the man who drew this into prison. His shitty drawing is the reason we still haven't caught him. The Empire's prestige is falling down as we speak. Bring this heretic in front of me right now. Morons. Nothing gets done here unless I take matter into my own hands. We're already out of it from fighting Muram over a fortress, and footing around with one intruder is just ridiculous. Isn't that right, Sir Abraham? Abraham says, all of us saw it. The intruder's aura blade. The aura was bigger than that of grandmasters like me and Mackenzie. We caught on to it even without making any attacks directly. That man's either at the same level as me or higher. It might be wisher to bring him over to our side. Duke says, you fools. Why are you inside the castle? You should be scouring the outside of the castle. Abraham says, he was never going to listen in the first place. Jinhyuk gets into the castle. Wearing Grand Mage's robe, Jinhyuk says, try looking for me for 100 days and see if you find anything. I remember it was this way. Penheimer says, no, you can't. I only promised that you could take one. Alice says, what? Don't be so stingy. Penheimer says, you're finally here. Jinhyuk, she's taking way too many treasures, please stop her. Jinhyuk says, at least look over the stuff like wine for later. I'm sure you won't regret it. Penheimer says, what are you going to choose? You must only choose one. Any more and it'll be too obvious. Jinhyuk looks around and thinks, as expected of the middle region, fitting of all the great powers here, they sure have a lot of treasures. But right now, I only need one thing. I'm going with this. It is red dragon's blood. Penheimer says, the choice is up to you, but even the royal mages find it hard to use that dragon blood. What on earth are you planning to do with it? I'm well aware that it's hard to use. Penheimer takes the dragon blood, and says, I see I meddled needlessly. You'll certainly do just fine. That's all T4 he help I'm capable of giving you. He give the dragon blood to Jinhyuk. He says, good luck with the takeover of the fortress. After that we see in the real world twins gets the video call request from Jinhyuk. They get really happy to see him. Jinhyuk says, you two are at my house, aren't you? They says, no, we're not. Jinhyuk says, that, my sofa. They say, no, you're just mistaking it for yours. I asked you to move in with me, so I don't care. Anyhow, I have a mission for you too. They gets really happy and says, a mission. Jinhyuk ends the call, and thinks, I'm sure Gawain didn't just coincidentally ask me about the Antichrist's tomb. It's one of the few places in the tower where you can manifest demons. If he's looked for a way to enter it, he must have a certain number of artifacts for summoning. Alice says, what the hell? Do we have OT live with those lunatics? Well, since I made a promise, yeah. If you hate it so much, why not buy me a floor below? Jinhyuk and Alice are walking at the outskirts of the Empire capital. Alice says, by the way, why does no one recognize you? Even though you're wanted. Jinhyuk says, that's because I may look normal to you guys. But to others, I look like this. Alice says, that's ugly as hell. Why are we standing here, though? Didn't you say we'd raid the fortress? We gotta stop to make before we go to the fortress. What's with this shabby smithy? It may seem shabby from the outside, but there's a talented man too good to pass up inside here. The best blacksmith in the empire. Oren. Oren is sitting drunk. The 10th part of the solo max level newbie ends here. If you want to see more, please subscribe and like, and if you want to support me financially you can join my Patreon only for $1. Patreon and Discord links are in the description if you want support me. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks for watching.